Welcome to the Flex Forward podcast, where grit meets growth. With your host, Nic Espanet, bringing you stories of resilience, reinvention, and the real climb to success.
All right, everyone, welcome to the Flex Forward podcast. Today we are joined by Ayo. Ayo is a enterprise agile coach, and I'm going to let him explain a little more about what that is. I'm excited to hear and learn about what it is he does and some of the success he's had in life. Ayo, welcome to the Flex Forward podcast. Can you let our listeners know a little more about you and what it is that you do on a daily basis?
Hi, and thanks for having me. Again, my name is Ayo. It's Ayorinde, but Ayo for short. I am an enterprise agile coach. I am all things agile. So I've been a scrum master, a senior scrum master, release training engineer, agile coach, senior agile coach, enterprise agile coach. So all the way. So what that means is I operate at the portfolio level, at the enterprise level, helping to shape entire agile transformation. So I've been a member of different agile center of excellence, have helped shaped agile center of excellence. So I have, with Trina USA, I was the senior agilist for the CRM domain. So Trina USA is a huge HR organization, and has been around for quite a while. And so with headquarters based in Dublin, California. And so I was one of only 8 member Agile Center of Excellence, um, and brought restriction for towards 64 plus agile teams,
Okay.
and most recently Centerpoint Energy as well, helping to shape the lean agile center of excellence with them. So I am not just a regular enterprise agilist, I'm also an AI agilist. So what that means is I'm one of the new the professionals who are able to bring the agile way of working into AI production as well. And so that makes me an AI agilist. And so I'm also at the moment an AI transformation professional as well. So I am within the enterprise domain, helping to shape entire organizations. Now, let me quickly talk about agile and what it is. So think about you're trying to build a house, okay? You're trying to build a house. You look at your wife and say, "Hey, baby, I do have a big plan for this family, and I'm trying to build a house." And so you begin to ask your wife, "What do you want to see, in your kitchen?" So you get out those requirements, and then you say, "Are you happy?" And say, "Yes." And then you also bring in your requirement. "I do want my man cave. I do want this. I do want that." Okay, and so you bring that design together, and then you go look for an architect to help you put it together. Okay,
Okay.
the guy, it does a great job, puts it together, and then moves from there. And then you take that design, and then that everything is done, and then you go to a contractor and say, "Listen, I need to turn these into reality. What is it going to take?" Okay. And he, looks at the entire thing, and then he says, "Okay, here's how much it's going to cost, and this is how long it's going to take." Okay. So
Okay.
essentially project management right there you're seeing. So the constraints of scope, time, and budget. And so it, puts together a team, and then you shake hands and say, "Okay, I'll see you when this is done." And then when it's done, the contractor hands the project over to you, and then you say thank you. Now that is an entire life cycle for that product, for that housing.
Yeah.
Now, but in software development, we have a different approach to it. So rather than wait till the end of that product for you to be able to make any potential changes, okay, what we do is bring in the customer and bring in, the owner of the solution, and then we make them work together and deliver iteratively, okay, till the end of that solution. So the advantage is this: you're able to make changes, okay, as the solution is being delivered to you. Now, for my position as an enterprise agilist, part
Okay.
of what I do is I train the scrum master who is going to be the guarantor of the agile way of working within the team. So agile is agile scrum, teams or power teams. They work in teams. So you will have development teams, okay, and then you have the product owners and you will have the scrum masters. Okay. So from my position, I will train the scrum master. I will train the product owner. I will help shape the environment within which they all
Okay.
work. Now you also have team of teams, which is essentially scale agile. So scale agile is essentially creating a team that is full of teams.
Okay.
And the end goal is producing larger solutions. And so we're worried about alignment when we're talking about a team of teams. We're trying to ensure that there's this big solution and this train that is going to deliver on that. So that's why we call them agile release trains. So enterprise agile coaches like myself will help shape that process. So you see, and so we will help shape OKRs, objectives, and key results. We will help ensure that the features, whatever that train is going to deliver within the quarter, is delivering on that OKR for
Okay.
that domain.
You're getting
So
what you want at that point. Your result.
absolutely, absolutely. So the customer has to be happy. If the customer is not happy, I can essentially trace the entire problem from the customers not being happy all the way to requirement gathering. So you see.
When you can get it, it sounds like your goal is to fix whatever's making the customer not happy early in the process, not way down the line when there's
Absolutely.
it's a much bigger fix, most likely.
Absolutely. So we want to make sure that before anything production does happen, certain problems are addressed, risks are addressed, dependencies are addressed, capacities are addressed. And so once the platform owner or the business owner says, this is what I want, this is the OKR, this is where my heart is, then the product management then has to align whatever they're trying to produce to that
Gotcha.
OKR. And so, as folks like myself will help shape that, and then we'll begin to look at those teams and say, okay, do you have the necessary capacity to deliver on this feature within this quarter? Okay, and so the scrum masters go back and go do the assignment around capacity planning, and
Okay.
then for each team has to have a product owner. So product owners, do you have the necessary epics created? Do you have the necessary user stories created? We like to have at least three or four sprints worth of work ready before going
Okay.
to those big planning. So do you have that really readily defined? Do we have features? We don't like to prioritize features within planning. We like to prioritize that before planning. The goal is
Yeah.
to have a smooth planning process so that at the end of that planning, business owners can really ascertain what is going to be delivered to them. We need to get them excited going
Yeah.
into that planning. And so at the end of the day, every risk, every dependency, every problem that could be the case during the quarter is addressed well ahead. So you see, so
Yeah.
at the end of the day, quality is delivered to the business owner or the customer, and they're excited. That way, we the entire goal of what we do is to drive business agility. The world is going crazy with technology. Okay,
Sure.
the new thing now is
Yeah.
AI. Okay, how do you keep up? Before AI, business agility essentially is, the ability for an organization to drive innovative solutions using
Okay.
drive our business using innovative solutions. So you see, to maintain
Yeah.
market share. And so if you're now moving at the speed of war, you're most likely to be out of business in 2 days. I mean, we
Yeah.
can. I mean, I can give you an example. There's Nokia, who's had the blockbuster Kodak. All of those guys
Yeah.
couldn't keep up. Okay,
Yeah. No, you got to keep
they
moving and adapting.
absolutely. Now you got AI. So now, as an enterprise agilist, I am not just a regular agilist anymore. I have upgraded myself. I have gotten more knowledge. I need I need to be able to operate in the age of AI. Otherwise, I would lose myself. And so now I can train AI Scrum Masters, AI empowered Scrum Masters, AI empowered product owners. Okay. I'm able to shape the entire environment around AI production now. And so at the end of the day, organizations need to be able to keep up. They need to be able to keep up. They
Sure.
need to produce what the customer, what the market is really waiting for. And so that's where I
That's
come in.
great. So very, very interesting. This is a world that I'm very unfamiliar, just learning about. So how did you get into this line of work and this arena?
Well, so I think this also began with my university years. So I was the president of my computer science society back in college.
Okay.
So I went to school, Dickinson State University up in North Dakota.
Okay.
I studied computer science and computer tech management. So I was the president of my computer science society. And so I was able to, facilitate, computer workshops and more, and then build relationships within the environment. And then in the early 2010s, you had the oil and gas boom, right?
Yeah.
And so that brought in organizations and companies. So they wanted to get in on the North Dakotan basin. They needed to get that shale oil. And
Yeah.
so I got involved with Rangers Energy. So I became a project lead. And then I found out my leadership skills and my technical skills were matching. They were working at it. And so
Okay.
that's why I got into Agile and Scrum. And
Very neat.
so, yes, so this was how the journey began. So, but we are the Scrum Master from there to Synergy Technologies to Dell Technologies, then Silicon Valley Bank. I was the senior Scrum Master and had our coach on the Loan IQ initiative. And so that initiative was essentially geared, they had a plan to become a large financial institution. And so they were trying to consolidate commercial lending book of business into open data platforms, otherwise called
Okay.
Loan IQ. So, and retire their old signature and flexible engine modules. And so I was brought on board. And so I was able to help shape that 92-man agile release train. And so it was quite a large body. I had to train, I had to shape the mindset. So we had to manage dependencies, we had to shape a whole bunch of alignment. So set of scrums, S3 meetings, and more, just to ensure. So um, that was a success. And I was moved from there to other solutions as well. So from Silicon Valley Bank, then Trinet USA called. And China USA was also going through its own transformation. And so they needed a strong hand. So the director, great, wonderful guy, Mike Kurt, reached out to me based on the recommendation of some people. And he reached out to me and tested, he got a feel of, my skill set. And he said, hey, I'm sold, and brought me on board to China USA, and sent me immediately to the CRM domain, which was the most difficult domain. And so the entire organization had 64 plus agile teams. That's a large team, that needed to be properly shaped correctly. And so I was one of 8 members of the Agile Center of Excellence, and one of only 3 SPC 6.0 Agile Enterprise Agile coaches at the time. And so I was able to help shape the CRM domain correctly. I broke down teams. I had to retrain some people into their product owner roles. I had to
Okay.
help reshape the cadence, the sprint cadences. They were practice. It was just all over the place. And so we had to help shape that out, and the teams began to deliver better and better and better. And
Okay.
so that was how we were able to solve that, and that became a standard for the rest of the other domains as well. And so I was with China USA when Centerpoint Energy also called.
Okay.
Now, Centerpoint Energy is local to Houston. I'm in Houston. I love Houston. So it's hard to say no. And I had I'm a pretty known name within the agile community of practice here in
Okay.
Houston. And so they reached out to me, and I said, okay. And so that was when I joined, and then we had to help shape. So, and Centerpoint practice, well, at the time, was practicing what we call the platform operating model. So platform operating
Okay.
model is essentially scale agile level 3, essentially portfolio safe. So in name it is called PAM, but in practice, if you're a true enterprise agilist, if you study it, then you understand it is essentially, safe level 3. It was championed by the Boston Group. And so once you look at it, the entire structure, you understand what it is. It was just a few name changes here and there, but we're able to help shape that. At the end of the day, it's all helping to deliver within the with the agile way of working. And so it's been great for me ever since. Um, in
That's
my
that's great.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, please.
No, say it's awesome. As you know, our listeners are listening, and you've had quite a journey. Have you come across something that you can recommend, maybe that's helped you become better at what you do? You know, if that's a podcast, a book, some type of class. Is there anything that you could recommend
So,
to our listeners?
so I think you have to check your personality. Number one, I like to always say that because you see, with the agile way of working, your people skills and your technical skills have to match. More so your people skills, because you have to be a lot patient, because transformation changes, takes time. There's a process to change. Now you're trying to have these leaders who have been around for 20, 25 years
Mm-hmm.
begin to let go of some of their power, just so you're trying to create an environment where teams can innovate freely, because
Oh
we
yeah.
like to we like to encourage that, that self-management, so the teams can, innovate freely within the space, within a, a protected space. So you
Okay.
see, now you got to tell these leaders to let go some of those powers. You have to begin to curb, their intrusion into teams. You have to shape the way requirements get into teams. So you will get pushback. You will definitely get, so you have to be a lot patient. You have to document a bunch of your potential improvement you're trying to make. It's a data driven process. So you have to
Okay.
be able to defend whatever change you're trying to make. So you see, so here's where you are. Here's where you potentially might will be if you allow these changes to happen. You will step on toes, but your professionality will come in very strong.
Okay.
So you see,
No.
so
Yeah.
your people skills. Now, then another thing is I do have a strong knack for learning. So I do study. I do have books, and my leadership skills also is another thing. You have to be willing to take hits. Okay, you have to be willing. It's more akin to the platoon leader or the guy who's going to you about to go to war. You have to be the leader who's going to first jump in first, and you have
Yeah.
to be willing to protect your teams, your people, your domain. So you have to be able to shape them for accountability, but also be willing to protect them as well.
Wow,
So
good stuff. That I
yeah,
think that's great leadership. Is
absolutely,
definitely protect them, take some flack for them, and stand up for them. It goes a long way,
absolutely,
and your team, I think, will fight for you. Using the war analogy, that if
absolutely,
they see you stepping in and taking the brunt, or taking the flack or the incoming, they're going to step up and work even harder for you. And when things need to
absolutely,
grind a little bit. Good stuff.
absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And I also like to teach. So um, I'm an enterprise agile consultant, but also a coach, and so I like to teach. I do have a platform where I train, whether it is AI empowered Scrum Masters, AI empowered product owners, lean portfolio managers, different roles and responsibilities I like to shape. The end goal is to be able to, and I think this is part of why I also say I'm a major name in the agile, way of, agile community of practice here in Houston. And so I have built, very good, strong relationships within the field. And so we always share SOPs. For example, I do have certain decks I've prepared for AI empowered Scrum Masters and product owners
Okay.
that I am going to. Some of my colleagues in different organizations have reached out to me for help and said, "Hey, Ayo, we need help. I need help. I need to be able to get my folks to become a lot more efficient so they don't get dropped off." Because at the end of the day, the organization, has the power to say, listen, all right, we'll see what's going on, but AI is doing this thing, so we might have to let people go. But
Yeah.
if you bring in certain advantage, if you bring in that AI skill set to say, okay, here is the Scrum Master, here's the new AI empowerment for them to be able to help them deliver better and faster, then you have a situation where the organization wins, teams win. So at the end of the day, you find a way to upgrade them. I'm an advocate for continuous improvement. Every agilist by profession is a continuous improvement professional.
Okay. Yeah.
He has to be seen, he has to be visible in your conversation, in your knowledge, in your drive. And so always bring in what is the next new thing that is going to help you deliver better or plan better. What is the next big thing that's going to help you build synergy and trust within your teams? What is the next big thing that's going to help the customer, receive quality improvement or delivery at the end of every sprint or quarter? So you have to be on the lookout for it. This is how
Yeah.
organizations grow. This is how you retain or enlarge your market share. This is how you drive business agility, especially in the times in these times of AI. So
Yeah. No, things are changing drastically. Those are all great points.
yes, absolutely. Thank
So
you.
what's one as you've had your journey from Montana to Houston and everything in between, what's one of the biggest challenges you've had to overcome?
Um, Really, I think the biggest thing has always have to be me proving myself. Sometimes I feel like when you look at some of us, it might seem like what does he know about this? But by the time I start speaking like this, oh, they'd be like, okay, it's actually great. It's actually great. Then you begin to test, it's actually okay, it's actually great. Then I now tell you now, here's what your organization has been doing wrong for a long time. Okay, here's where it's wrong. Now
Ah,
I'm having to challenge those who have been around for a while, and that might make you feel like a threat to the entire
sure.
system.
You're
The
challenging
goal
the
is not
status
to
quo.
exactly. So, but part of why leaders are leaders is to be able to take in things like this,
Hmm.
coagulate it,
Yeah.
okay, and see the vision behind these challenges. So at the end of the day, when it is all said and done, your organizations win, you win better. So, and when you win, then I win.
Yeah.
This has been my philosophy. So, at the end of the day, you have to be able to challenge the status quo, and I believe this is where it's always at. Corporate America can be very challenging. There's the politicking. However,
Sure.
as an agilist, you have the strength of persuasion, the strength of patience, the strength of knowledge and data to
Mm.
back up whatever you're trying to do. And then that page, those all those three ingredients will always help you win. I will show you here's where you are right now. Here's what you're doing right now. Here's what you eat. I took time to study this, but here's where you can be. If you allow these changes, here's where you can be. You win. Your organization win. You win. Your name on that winning ballot. Okay, and when you
Yeah.
win, then I win. So
Nice.
that is how we know we've made impact. And
Well,
so
that's always great to have the win-win where everybody's
yeah,
benefiting.
absolutely. That's the reason why when I train my scrum masters, I tell them you're not the boss of the team, even though it seemed like it. However, the success of the team, their success is your success. So you're not successful until they're successful.
Hmm.
And so, which is why we call it servant leadership. So once they're successful, then you are successful. Okay. And for every team under my domain, when every one of them are successful, then I am successful. Matter of fact, a lot of times I go to domain leadership and wait. Are they happy? Are you happy with what you're saying? Are you happy? If you tell me, oh, hi, oh man, it was a great delivery. I'm excited. Things are smooth. I have clear predictability as to what my team's going to be. Now I am happy.
Yeah.
So you see, so my success is not there yet until their success is established. So
Yeah.
this is the
Good stuff.
mindset you have to, and then you have to be able to challenge, you know, knowledge. You have to be willing to challenge knowledge. Okay, because there's no one size fits all. So you see, you get knowledge from here, get knowledge from here, it's still within the same field. True agilists know this. And so they never rest on just their laurels alone. We need each other, which is why we have community of practice.
Oh,
So
nice.
yes. So at the end of the day, we share SOPs. My colleagues from different places, when they reach out to me, they know fully whether I train people on my downtime, so I can send them decks. Okay, here's the new AI empowered Scrum Master decks. Train your people, become a lot more efficient. Here's the new product owner decks. If you need help, reach out to me. Here's the new AI empowered POPM deck. If you need help, reach out to me. I'm willing to get your people in place and get them going. So at the end of the day, when organizations reach out, If you tell me, I'll try to find out where you are, okay, what you have established, and I can then tell you, here's what I can bring. And if you need more people, I am a major name, and I can bring in a whole lot of
Yeah,
people as well.
you're sound like you're a great networker
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
connecting people and connector. Well, congratulations! Sounds like things are going really well, and so a lot
Thank you
of
so
business
much.
owners or executives start having more success. Start also
I
maybe
appreciate that.
considering things that other avenues that you may make income that maybe not take. It's more passive. Doesn't take your time either investing, real estate, different things like that. You ever have any thoughts on doing any outside investing or just something where you're more on a passive role and that way
Oh,
you're not
absolutely.
having to put in the hours.
Absolutely. I like to always say I'm someone of, everywhere. I've always believed in, trying investments and, in across the waters. So while I'm passionate about what I do, I also find that, I'm passionate about a lot of other things because I'm an avid learner. So you see,
Yeah,
so at the end of the day, whether it is real estate, whether it is, even in healthcare, okay, I'm always looking to see what else can I get into. I always have this belief and structure within me that it doesn't matter what I do, I'll be excellent at it. I always say this, right? The best, some of the most intelligent people are coaches and trainers because you have to know the stuff before you can teach the stuff.
sure.
And so if you have that ability, you're able to bring it to anywhere. So real estate, I'm giving myself to it. I'll be taking, getting my real estate license very soon. Um, Healthcare, I'm working on something within that space as well. Um, Within the stock environment, I'm also interested as well. So my brain is doing a whole lot of things around that.
Yeah,
And
just
so,
lots going on.
yes, absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
So, but
as we're wrapping up, what you sound like you just listed these. What other do you have any exciting plans or initiatives in the next 6 to 12 months that you're looking at doing?
within the next 6 to 12 months, I'm looking forward to help shaping organizations' AI transformations.
Mm,
So I am an agile transformation leader, but I'm also an AI transformation leader now. So that is where my mindset is. At the end of the day, I am more than just an agile enterprise agile coach. I'm more than just a scrum master. I'm more than just a release train engineer. But now in the age of AI, I am alive as well. So you see, so I do have my little, I don't like to say little. Um, Here's the reality, right? The economy of the future will require that everyone, multiply their skill set.
hmm
So you see, you're not going to see it on just that one thing that you do know. Your brain, your mind has to be expanded. So, my I do have an LLC called Build Your Technology Group. We're online. You'll find a bunch of training, consulting, I know IT consulting, and more. And you will have the agile transformation leader. You will have the AI transformation, leadership organizations. When they reach out, you can get that. You can get. We'll meet you where you are. It doesn't matter what it is. We'll meet you where you are. We'll help
hmm
shape your agile transformation. We'll help shape your AI transformation. Your lean portfolio practice will help shape everything. So it will not just be limited to just one organization. I do believe that organizations need to begin to move at the speed of war as we speak. So I look forward to doing that, continue to do that for the next, year or two,
Okay.
depending on where, the journey takes me.
Awesome. Well, Io, thank you so much for sharing lots of great information today and
Thank you
tips with
so
our
much.
listeners. If people would like to learn more about you, learn more about what you're doing, what's the best way for them to reach out to you, make contact?
Yeah, the number to call is 346-201-1662. Again, it's 346-201-1662. And, my personal email is ayorinde.aiyewumi@proton.me. So that will be my email. You can visit, my, our website, BOJ Tech Group, bojtechgroup.com. You will find all things agile in there. It's been updated as we speak to reflect the new realities around AI as well. So if an organization does need our services or consulting services, they're free to reach out to us, on there, or Just my straight number 346-201-1662. And then my email, ayorinde.ayomi@proton.me. I
Awesome.
am I'm more than just an individual. I am a huge network of people.
Yeah,
So it's
awesome. I highly encourage everybody. If this is something that you're interested in, connect with IO and lots of good energy and lots of good information. Thank you so much for joining today. I know our listeners are going to greatly benefit when this one's out. But everyone, please be sure to like and share this episode. And IO, thank you again. I really enjoyed visiting with you today.
I appreciate you. Thanks for having me today. Thank you.
You
You have
bet.
a great one.
Thanks for listening to the Flex Forward podcast. If you've got grit, growth, and a great story, visit flexforwardpodcast.com/guest to apply and join us on the show.